The Walking Dead with Joel and Jeremy. My name's Joel.
I'm Jeremy. We are brought to you by Comeuppance Network. You can check out all of our social media sites at thishishowtowatchtv.com, and you can email us at twdwithjoelandjeremy@gmail.com.
That was tough to get. I was feeling the pain there.
There's no pain.
Just the
moving along.
Patreon. If you want to subscribe if you want to support the Jay and Jack Network on Patreon, go to patreon.com/jayandjack or jayandjack.com and click on the Become a Patron link. Check out the different levels there for support. You can pledge $1 a month to subscribers. You could.
No, I don't have a T-shirt with their name on it. I'm just.
You're not. Oh, boo. The Amazon affiliate link. Just go to jayandjack.com/Amazon and click through that if you want to buy any things. And if you want to check out the other shows on the Jay and Jack Network, you can go to jayandjack.com/iTunes.
I'm going to show off my skinny arms.
Right. Never say die.
Goonies. Loot Crate.
My cousin was like, "Oh, I love your Goonies shirt." I'm like, I don't think I've seen it all the way through.
Really?
Yeah. It's just one of those that escaped me. Is that the one with the pirate ship underneath the thing?
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces. But recently, and it was pretty terrible. To like the acting and everything was pretty...
it's 80s movie. Of course it's terrible.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, if you take that for what it is,
right,
you can enjoy it.
Right.
Right.
That's the exact same discussion about Star Wars. Like, that's what I have to do to get through those 4, 5, and 6 is take it for what it was at the time. You know, like, if you didn't grow up with Star Wars, you're less likely to love it rabidly as much as, like, people who, like, oh my God, this was my childhood.
Yeah. You liked Rogue One.
I did. I really did like that movie. I thought it was the first
discussion.
It was the first Star Wars movie that really engrossed me and made me care about the characters because I didn't, like, already know where it was all going.
And spoiler alert, they all died in the end.
Oh, right. I mean, duh.
Right.
Was...
So now cutting back to where the person who skipped out on us came back.
Yeah.
You know, like, you fucker, going to give me a Star Wars spoiler.
Right, exactly.
If you haven't seen Rogue One yet, then you're not that much of a Star Wars fan.
Right, fair enough. And I wouldn't even care if you had told me that before I had seen it. Okay, fine, they all die, whatever. Okay, so one quick thing I wanted to address. We got a little bit of feedback after our Season 7 recap episode, and I just want to be very clear up front here. We are not a podcast that indulges in book or comic book spoilers. I have zero interest in knowing anything about it, and I would please ask that you don't spoil us, as the first comment sort of did. I mean, it's a minor thing, but it's just enough that... The comment was as such. It was by Katrina Michaelis. Thanks so much for the podcast. I've been doing a TWD rewatch for the past few months. Mother of 2 small kids, so it's taking a while. I can see how that would take forever. I'm currently on the finale.
I hope she doesn't feel like we're going to single her out. Like,
no. That's what I mean. I just wanted to be very clear about it so that I'm not singling her out at the same time. I appreciate the feedback. I'm currently on the finale of Season 6, but hoping to be almost caught up by Sunday's Season 8 premiere. I'm listening to your Season 7 recap now. My feedback for the show: I think you should have a little knowledge of the comic book storyline in order to make more knowledgeable predictions. I want to address that because if I'm doing that, then I'm giving you spoilers. If I'm reading the comics and knowing where the show could go, to me, that's a spoiler. And maybe it's a fundamental difference of opinion on that, but I don't want to spoil anybody and I don't want to be spoiled on it. I want to watch the show. I'll use Game of Thrones as an analogy. Game of Thrones, there are people that are diehard book readers and they compare everything in the show to the book, but we're watching the show version, and so that's what we're going to comment on this show. So somebody, the comment continues. There was a couple spoilers there from the comic that I omitted for Jeremy and everybody listening's sake. I don't read the comics, she says, but my husband does, and I look up spoilers online just to kind of get a feel for where the comics are compared to the show. Thanks again for doing the podcast. It'd be great if you could get a woman
because
on
she just looks up spoilers for the comic.
Right. Well, it's not spoilers for the comic; it's spoilers for the show in theory. But
because she's just looking up where the comic is going.
Correct. Again,
some people do that, and some people
I don't begrudge you for that.
No,
by all means.
like that's okay. Like, but
we're trying. We just want to talk about the show because that's all we've seen,
and it's a fresh.
It's just a personal preference, honestly.
Right, and listen, like I said, nothing. Please keep watching.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to take it for what they're showing us on screen. We understand that there's a huge plethora of stories
they're up to
and
like
shit
season
that,
12.
that could go a lot farther than what we are now in the comic book form. And the comic books are what made the show great, because that's where the stories are coming from. And I completely understand wanting to go through, but we're watching it as it's going.
Right.
Episode by episode. The same thing we did with Game of Thrones. Like, I never looked up any
where is this going in the
spoilers
book
or anything for Game of Thrones at all. Like, because that story was as the same as this. It is out there. You can go look and get the spoilers.
It takes the fun out of guessing. Is my only genuinely, that's the only reason. It's not some pretentious reason.
And we get that. I think we get that from Lost,
right?
Because we were so guessing at what was going to happen and so talking about it every single week.
And it's so much more fun that way to me.
All of this comes from is wanting to kind of guess what happens next.
It all comes from the Jay and Jack Lost podcast. That's the only reason
it really does. It kind of does. But yeah, so
again, no hate, but just like, please don't send us spoilers. I don't want to know that stuff. I feel like we have a knowledge enough on the show that we don't necessarily require it to be able to have a coherent discussion. If you feel like we're missing out on stuff, fair enough, send some stuff in, but if you could avoid that kind of stuff.
Now I will give you this. If you want to compare stuff that has already happened to
the way it played out in the comic, sure.
Now I'm good with that.
Right, absolutely.
But yeah, nothing that we haven't seen yet.
I thought about it, man. After the first couple seasons, it was like, shit, I'm really enjoying this.
Now that we berated our audience, let's...
I read the first couple comics, and they were slightly different.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
So I get it, but I don't want there to be like, oh, well, what if they do this thing with Maggie that played out in the comic 3 seasons later? What if that eventually comes true? I don't want to know. You know, I just let me enjoy the ride kind of thing, and try to make educated guesses. But yeah, I feel like it's not educating me more so as spoiling and making it so that I would be spoiling people. I don't want to do that to people that are watching that might just want to, whatever. I don't mean to harp on about it. I just wanted to get that out of the way to start off with. The other
rules,
right, rules. Don't listen to our podcast. No.
No. Anyway,
the other comment that I got was somebody asking if we'd go on their podcast. So we may do that at some point.
I thought we wanted to do that over the weekend, but you never brought it up.
I didn't check the email again, and next thing you know, he's like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do it tomorrow. And he like emailed me back the same day, and I didn't check it till today.
Oops.
Yeah, my bad. I'm just getting used to this whole new setup. So I quickly watched that Behind the Dead thing, and there were only a couple things that I found noteworthy. Shane was cast first in the show.
He was the first
actor cast.
As Shane?
Yeah, no, just
cast. Okay,
period.
You're going to be in the show as somebody.
Yeah, there was no Rick yet. There was no anybody else. The first character they cast was Shane. Yeah,
that's cool. Okay. He's going to be in a movie coming up soon too.
He's doing that Punisher thing on Netflix, isn't he?
Yeah, but
oh, you're not excited about that?
Is he getting a whole season?
I thought they already did a season, didn't they?
No, not for the Punisher.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought he was in the Daredevil season 2.
Oh.
And then they did the Defenders, which didn't include him, which I really didn't understand.
Okay.
He's not really interested in defending.
Fair enough. He's interested in punishing. Yeah. Okay. It's sort of in the title, yeah. They found Norman Reedus so fascinating that they wrote a part for him. I think that's sort of been common knowledge.
Yeah, he's not in the comic book, right?
Right.
Okay, so going back to discussing the comic book. But like, he's one of the characters that doesn't
exist in the comics, correct. They cast Carol because
Morgan
of her scene.
Morgan is like that as well, right?
Right.
Okay.
They cast Carol because of her scene in The Mist.
I've never seen The Mist.
You've never seen The Mist?
I don't think so.
You should watch The Mist, man. The ending alone is worth it. Like, the ending alone made the movie just like, what? But her scene in it is really great. She's incredibly believable and, like, crying and, like, you're compelled by her. So I get what... She was the only one they didn't make audition. They just...
You're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have dreads on the show, you must be bald in real life. That seems to be the case. Same with Michonne and King Ezekiel. Both of them bald in real life, dreads on the show. Okay. I bet it's easier with, you know what I mean, in terms of
probably
applying.
A wig.
Yeah, well, of course it's a wig, but like it's easier that they don't have to then like tuck their hair underneath.
Like, have you ever seen that? Your wife does makeup and things like that. You've probably seen her plaster her hair to her head to where she looks
put
bald.
Something else on
creepy.
it.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
Andrew Lincoln asks why didn't they name Carl Bobby or something easier to pronounce? He's like, what about like Jason?
Well, because of his accent.
Because of Carl. Yeah. And that we were at 100 episodes. That was the last thing that I took away from that was of any use, I thought.
I mean, like you said, that's a pretty good milestone for a show like this.
Right,
yeah.
Considering it could have easily not made a second season.
Like we're not even going to get 100 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Good point. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, we're at season 7, and the season 7 wasn't even...
Okay, I will address one thing here with the show. It does feel like those other shows are obviously building to an endpoint. A criticism of this show is that it's not building to anything. That there's no story, that it's literally just survival. It's literally just what do we have to do to survive? Yeah, if you break it down to a simplest form.
But yes, there are building to a showdown between Rick and
No,
and
I mean endgame. Sorry, I said that wrong. An endgame. Like there's no here's what the whole show's leading towards. Like Breaking Bad
but you might be getting some of that with these dreams or whatever they might be. We'll have to get into another discussion.
The 2 months from now dreams.
The 2 months the little girl's not even that much bigger.
No. She can talk.
But like the fuzziness of the camera, like that's classic like dream sequence stuff to make everything look soft and fuzzy and like I don't know. And then we're getting 3 different things going on, 3 different timelines. We're getting the future that he's dreaming of.
Yeah,
we're getting the red-eyed, out-of-breath Rick, and then we're getting the speech, let's go kill him, Rick.
I mean, it feels like something bad obviously happened in the red-eye crying Rick. But what? Are we
going to spend the whole season putting this whole puzzle together?
I would hope so.
It'd be badass.
To me, I enjoy that kind of storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
That's way more fun.
You know what? They get really creative with this stuff, too, on this show. As far as every season or every 8 episodes, like the whole way they're telling you the story is different.
Yeah, I mean, they've
not been afraid to use anything, flashbacks, flash forwards.
But they didn't for a long time, I don't think.
But they have to now.
Yeah.
Like it's almost getting to the point to where we, like,
so we got some old Rick flashes.
I don't know, man. Like it feels like with the whole Negan thing and all that, like that. Yeah, I feel like they are becoming to an end game. This can't go on forever.
I don't know.
I mean, it could, but like it can't. Hollywood-wise, go on forever.
It doesn't really make sense that they wouldn't be already having issues with negotiating contracts after the 7th season retainer, because that's the standard television contract of 7 years.
7 years, right?
Yeah. So Rick and Maggie and King Ezekiel are giving that motivational speech at the beginning before they arm up the cars and then go out there.
Right.
The time thing is weird because it's like, when was Rick looking at the graves versus sitting on the porch staring at the prism thing versus
there's all kinds of different
Rick
here going on. Like you said, you know what?
Just let it ride.
It's a visual fucking puzzle, and let's all go for the ride and put it together. Like that'll make this podcast and this season more enjoyable, trying to fit all those pieces together as we go.
Okay, so just quick notes from the speech. It's the world is ours by right. Rick wants to end those who take and carve out the world as their own. Only one person has to die, and Rick will kill him himself. They keep making the world bigger together. Rick, King, and Maggie seem to be in charge at this point. King Ezekiel.
Right. Well, I mean, like...
And I was just like, she's going to be the leader, obviously, down the road, but...
Okay, so then are we just skipping around?
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about,
so
man.
Like when they're all standing there behind all the armored cars, when they pull up and kind of make their little barricade in front of the fortress or whatever it is, the entrance to the sanctuary.
Sanctuary, yeah.
Right. And they all come out. Where is the rest of the army? First of all, Negan's army.
Inside.
Really?
Yes. Well, they just waited until some of them left.
What did Gregory think he was going to do by coming out and just being like, I'm in charge, you guys go home?
He thought he thought. I mean, he's been a weasel since the stuff with like the liquor with.
They shut that shit down.
What?
The him like telling everybody to go home. Like Jesus was like, yeah, no, the hilltop's with Maggie.
Yeah. Well, but that was the play that they had to make there.
Yeah.
He had been losing power without realizing it. And he thought he still had enough bargaining power that he could get himself and Hilltop out of the shit with Negan.
Right.
And he fucked up. He couldn't do that. Now, Daryl's sending notes back and forth with arrows. I thought that was pretty clever. It took me a minute to realize what was happening there.
But you know what, though? How clever is it? Like I said,
a single arrow, though, and then if nobody's around, a single arrow, and then hits.
But dude, like, Negan is so fucking, like, the White doesn't, like, how do you know, like, somebody's not watching you? Like, I don't know, man.
I mean,
I think you're being awful risky. Yes, it's a clever way to send notes.
A couple things. Maybe he's been there long enough that he knows who's watching when.
For real? For real?
Do you think she's dead?
No, I don't.
Think she's out there somewhere?
Yeah.
Huh. I hadn't really thought about it, but I would think maybe she's dead by now, just being out in the world. I don't think she's going to come back.
I'm sorry, this is going back to last season. Was somebody like eating their pretzels? Like he left the pretzels and like somebody else was eating those pretzels later? I don't remember exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
He left the pretzels and beer.
Who's he?
Dwight. Like the wife left him the note about...
oh, okay.
I
did love you, but the man you
meet me here, and I know you always show up with the pretzels and beer. So he left the pretzels and beer there for her, like at their house, would seem to be their house that he went back to. I mean, that dude's been through some shit, man. Like that fucking like.
I told you last year they were going to make him sympathetic,
a redeemable character.
Somehow
like,
they're going to make him
Lannister, right?
yeah,
who's also scarred in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So Tara and Carol on a bridge with a horde passing underneath, a massive one. But why are you ducking against the wall? The horde.
I don't know if they
were
just ducking rather than just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, just killing time,
just chilling, waiting for them.
Because it was 2 days. I mean, it was Wednesday when they started the horde walk, and then it was Thursday.
They're leading all of the zombies, walkers, to the thing. I don't know if the Walking Dead community is cool with the zombie word. The Z word.
The Z word? Yeah, don't say the Z word.
The Z word. But all the walkers and the dead to cleverly leading them to the sanctuary, which is good play. I don't know if it's going to work out all that well in the end. Negan's not without a backup plan of some sort.
Right. That thing with Carl, where he went to the gas station and there was the guy there. Now, did you catch what the guy said? The guy said, whatever you have of good, spend on the traveler. My mom told me that. So he's appealing to Carl's mommy issues. And he says...
So he wasn't just incoherently rambling, he was actually talking to Carl?
Yeah. And he says, may my mercy prevail over my wrath. That is what Rick says at the end of the episode.
Right.
Which leads me to believe that Carl going back to give him food... which he did by the end of the episode. Carl went and dropped off 2 cans with a note that said sorry. It is going to be his show. He's going to let him in, and that guy's going to end up being something. Well, yeah, that was great. This is your show, Carl. Yeah, right. Thank you. I mean, I have to give you a clap for that one because it's literally on the nose. This is Carl's show, and will be someday. This is your show. But I think the implication there was that guy ended up being somebody.
Well, I like
if Rick is now repeating that guy's line, that guy is somebody in the going forward.
Or Carl remembered it and repeated it to Rick somehow or another.
Maybe, yeah.
Which is a way for that to get transferred, and which is a way that Carl or Rick would take it more to.
I mean, Rick did hear him say it, I guess. Now that I think about it, because he shot over his head.
Yeah, because he was right there.
Okay.
Yeah, Rick
but he's not interested in trusting people anymore. He's just like, I don't know. He is a killer, but he's not. He still has a moral compass. It's weird. Like,
I know, like Negan's the villain, but where do you stand on how he runs shit?
Who?
Negan.
Well, that leads to the discussion that we need to have about why they didn't shoot him. That it all plays into it.
Okay.
And the windows and all that shit all plays in together. So we're almost there. We'll get to that in a second because it's a deep one, I think. I mean, it's a complicated weaving of stuff. So they're taking out the lookouts across all of Negan's lookouts. Daryl takes a gun from the guy in the neighborhood lookout, and it has a tally of kills on it. And those bullets were massive. Yeah,
giant fucking NATO rounds and shit. What the fuck were in that gun, man? Holy shit!
Imagine I've never shot a gun really, but imagine the kickback.
But you know what though? There are revolvers that fire shotgun shells.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't shotgun shells, but that's almost what, I
massive.
mean, like, I don't know that I've ever seen a revolver
that held
with the
something so
chambers
long,
that
yeah.
wide. The bullets were fucking long, man. That gun was awesome. That thing was awesome.
So that's clearly a tally of who that guy's killed.
You think it was walkers, or you think it's people?
I would imagine people. It would have to be more if it was walkers. Imagine trying to
I
keep
don't know,
track.
man.
How many
Negan
walkers did you
keeps
kill today?
Negan keeps saying shit like, I care about my people. I'm not going to march them into death. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've only seen him.
Right, but this guy could feel bad about killing people that were against them. Like in Rick's group kind of a thing, where other groups that they would be in
He could feel bad, so he marks it off on the gun?
like how many people he's killed. I don't know what else the point of showing us those tallies
Oh,
was.
that would have been like, I'm an asshole and I've killed this many fucking people.
Okay, that could work too. That guy that looked like young Chuck Norris smoking a cigarette. on
Young
the...
Chuck Norris.
And then
does
Morgan
push-ups
just
and the
stabs
world
that
moves.
fucking guy in the back of the head with no... Or it was,
Like, he puts it through his chest,
yeah,
and
chest
then he walks up and-
head. I mean, no remorse, no hesitation.
He's back to, do you know, no, okay.
What did you call it? He's
clear.
back to clear.
Clear.
Yeah. Go
Now
on.
is he? I'm okay. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I'm sorry for the long pause.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It was a pregnant
It
pause.
was a what?
Pregnant pause.
I don't know that term, but we'll get back to that. I don't want to forget what I'm saying. Anyway, so is he a mixture of that Morgan mixed with new Morgan? With this
Turtle Man Morgan and Clear Morgan. He's Turtle Clear.
Turtle Clear Morgan?
Yeah, he's Turtle Clear Morgan.
Turtle Clear. Why is he Turtle Man Morgan? I don't get that one.
That was the guy was Turtle Man, wasn't he? The guy that he wore a turtle on his shirt. The guy that trained Morgan.
Was Turtle Man?
I swore there was something to do with turtles, so I'm just calling him Turtle Man.
He had a name. I don't remember his
I'm
name.
telling you, there's something to do with turtles. There.
I don't remember Turtle Man. But anyway, so Turtle Clear Morgan. Anyway, he's clear. Like, they're gonna berate me for that, I bet.
Turtle
like,
Clear
not knowing
Morgan.
what that means.
Yeah.
But so is he a mixture between those two different
Yes.
characters?
It's
like
all,
he's somewhere
it's
in
all
between.
part of his evolution, I think.
He had to get back to this point, right?
What do you mean?
To be able to kill another
Oh,
human being,
to be able
like,
to survive? Yeah,
to
yeah.
have to help
He needed
his
that
group survive.
He needed that shit from the Turtle Man, and he also needed to eventually just.
Yeah, so he wasn't completely crazy like
Right.
Clear Morgan was.
Did that
Like,
kid die?
what kid?
The kid that he was teaching to use the bow.
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah, he got shot in the leg. Remember the fucking weird long-haired guy shot him?
Okay, I was just like, I don't remember seeing him this episode.
He was supposed to shoot Richard, but then he shot the kid, and the kid ended up dying on Carol's table.
Gotcha. Okay.
You remember?
Yeah, I do
Last
vaguely
season,
recall that
and
now.
and then that's when Morgan clicked back and he
Right.
strangled him in front of everybody.
So, Rick is lamenting how all this all started with Negan, because because of one person. It all started because of one person, and Gabriel's like, yeah, so's this. It all starts with one person. You started this. He's like, yeah, but it's not all about me. He's like, yeah, you made that decision.
Right.
You made it that way.
You made it that it wasn't about you, right?
This was your one person thing.
Right.
You just decided that it wasn't going to be that way. Which again is another layer of that Negan thing that we're getting to here shortly. The way he treats everybody, what he bases his power on, things like that. Judith colors on the sidewalk with chalk, and then Rick says his just in case goodbyes to Michonne and Carl, and that's where she drops the "This is your show." I mean, I
Right.
loved that wink to the audience, but then we just go to Rick stabbing another lookout. But the way he did it, he whispered to the guy, or whistled. He's like, and the guy turned around and he just looked him right in the eyes and stabbed him in the stomach. So
Yeah.
he didn't die, but was incapacitated.
Yeah, but then the guy's like, Rick, what do you think you're going to do, Rick?
Well, but he was asking the same questions the audience is probably
I
asking.
don't know, Morty. What are you going to
Do you have enough? Do you really think you have the numbers to win this fight?
I mean, see, that made me think, I was like, are there going to be a bunch of dudes that run out of the bushes behind them? If that was the case, then they fucked up. But that's
Right.
not what happened.
That
Like you
isn't
said,
what
their whole
happened.
army was inside.
Right. Well, besides the ones that went on the mission, which got blown up by Morgan and them.
Morgan and them.
Yeah. So,
but that's all part of a booby trap leading the herd, right? Just the explosions, the noise were leading the herd.
That was to eliminate them too. That was all part of the plan. Right. No, they stopped the herd. Daryl had already taken over the herd at that point. He had taken over leading it. They were there just to make sure that no other walkers triggered that explosion before they drove their car into it. Because they knew which way they were coming or whatever.
There was a straggler that ran off that Morgan ran up and got him before he triggered off the explosion.
Oh, more armored vehicles arrive at that patch of land where they were doing the speech, and a community seems to be forming with these people. Like the dude that's King Ezekiel's second was forcing Enid to wear something protective.
Right.
You know, the other the people were
coming together. Jerry, like Jerry, like the big Hawaiian dude or whatever.
Maggie says she's in it for the first part. You can wage war through the second trimester. So she's making jokes in war. I mean, in this world, after Glenn just died, she may be coming out of it, so to speak. Not that she should be over it.
No, she'll never be over it, per se. But
she's definitely going to be having some of that Jesus.
Move forward.
She's definitely going to be having a piece of Jesus at some point. Oh,
come on, man. He's
into
riding
her
it hard, for sure.
They talk about reshaping the world, and then Maggie says Rick made her someone worth following. And he's like, that's why I'll be following you after this. I mean, I thought that was cool.
It was an awesome little nod to Maggie coming up, you know, in the world. Now
she's just going to be the new Herschel. Like, she's learned from all of this and then applied it to this world.
Herschel, who was a calmer person than Rick.
Yes.
And she's also learned from Rick to fucking bear down and do the hard shit when needed.
Exactly.
You know?
Tara, Carol, Daryl, and Morgan are waiting on a herd, and I love that they're using the walkers as weapons. Like, that they're using them to their advantage. You know?
They're adapting to the world they live in.
Did they do that already? What did they do with the herd before?
No,
they were trying to clear something out, weren't they?
They were trying to lead the herd away from Alexandria.
Right. Okay, because I was thinking they tried that before, but it didn't work.
Remember the
horn thing went off.
Something,
the siren.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so at the Negan compound, they're questioning whether the explosion was them, meaning Rick's group, like on the walkie with Daryl or with Dwight.
Right.
2 guards are shot on the roof, and then all the armored cars pull up, including the RV, which looked badass with the like face carved out the front of it.
And now, okay, you said something interesting. I guess like I didn't catch that was still Dale's RV.
I imagine it is. Maybe it's not. If anybody can correct me on that.
I thought they got a new RV.
Send an email to TWD with Joel and Jeremy at gmail.com if you know better on that. Because I'm not really
clear
certain.
us up on that. If it was still Dale's RV, I guess
maybe it's just the chosen vehicle.
Come on, man. It's been 8 years. Like I didn't do a full rewatch before we started doing the podcast.
But I mean,
so I'm not fresh on all the details. Like I didn't know that was still Dale's RV. And if that's the case, then that being destroyed in this episode is kind of an iconic moment.
That's why I was hoping that it was, because if it is, then they used it to such good effect that it was worth it. You know, like, but maybe RVs are just the vehicle of choice in this world.
I thought they found another one.
It's very possible, man.
Before all the Negan shit went down.
I mean, even during the Negan they drove up in the RV and then Negan took Rick in their own RV. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not. So they all shoot 4 shots in the air.
All at the same time.
Show
unification, which is cool.
Yes, and then Negan's opens the door and apologizes for being in a meeting. Now, you ask why didn't everybody shoot Negan? A couple reasons. One, Negan rules by
fear.
Yes, and why do people still stay with Negan? Why don't they kill him? Because they feel safe, right? Then that sort of makes sense.
Would you really feel that safe?
Well, safe enough to he protects them. He looks after his own, so to speak.
He does, per se. I guess you got to give him that. He does. He keeps saying that too.
Right. So he looks after them.
If you're loyal.
So if
you're not loyal, he burns your face with a fucking iron.
Right. Now, if they kill Negan right there on the porch,
okay,
they've martyred Negan. And now all of those people inside are going to rally behind the Negan death and fight against Rick.
Do you really think that's what would happen? Why 100% do you think
because the other 5 that were on the balcony have not splintered yet. if he can get them to have seeds of doubt, if he can plant seeds of doubt in them, they can't win at this point. They can't win against a unified Negan front. He knows that. That's why they won't kill Negan. They have to get the doubt in the 5 lieutenants because it's a pyramid down kind of a thing. Negan's at the top, then the 5 underneath him, and then all of their subservience. So, like, if he
See, man, if you cut off the head, the
yeah,
snake
but those
just starts
other
flopping
5s,
the fuck around,
the other
man.
5 are so loyal to him. I mean, not Dwight, but the other 4
Yeah,
are.
so you got
will
people
just,
like Dwight. You can't tell me that all the other people that live inside
Mustache
the
Dude will
compound.
pick up right up where Negan left off.
What is his name?
He said it. I forgot already. Damn it. I don't know. So anyway, somebody on Reddit.
I want to call him Shane because he has like
Right.
Shane from the Shield's teeth. Like he's got those big front
Yes,
teeth.
he does. Somebody on Reddit gives an explanation as to what they think why. They said, here's why.
Why they didn't just
Why
blow
they
Negan
didn't
away?
just blow him away.
Okay.
Negan still has numbers. Rick needs to break the hold Negan has on his men, or Negan just becomes a martyr and his men fight harder. Rick did things that way so he could undermine Negan's God complex and show the potential leaders of the Sanctuary it isn't fight or die for them. He's open to surrender. They went there to shatter the illusion of security that Negan provides. Shattering the windows and unleashing walkers will make people feel less safe and start questioning Negan. There's a theory that breaking windows breaks the society. There's shit in this show when Rick was fighting with the drunken husband that was beating his wife. They crashed through a window right as that society was collapsing. So it's a metaphorical way to them shooting out the windows was them showing the people inside it's not safe here anymore. Like, this shit's going down. It's not, you're not safe inside the building where they think they're safe. And where Negan kept them to be safe.
And I get that the people on the inside of this thing who are being fed information only by...
Right, it's like, it may as well be North Korea. Yes. Propaganda
by their
only.
leader,
yes.
who Negan says... Rick has murdered our people. Rick has... I mean, from their perspective, it probably doesn't look all that untrue.
Right.
Like, Rick went into that satellite array and just murdered everybody in there.
Yeah.
Get why he did it, totally behind it, understand what was happening. Like, they thought they got the whole group there, the saviors or whatever. That was that was the thing that started all of this.
Yeah.
But... him turning that event around and telling his people about it would be a total different perspective.
Yeah, he's
which
telling
that's why I
it in a
understand
way,
why these people would be afraid of Rick and them outside and not just be like, well, Negan's an asshole, I'm going to go follow him.
Right.
No, he's a fucking marauder, a fucking raider, a murderer is what he looks like to Negan's people. So I can understand where they would be reluctant, and like you said, if they killed Negan, then so I guess I'm more on your side of that now.
So shattering the windows and unleashing walkers will make people feel less safe and start questioning
So
Negan.
this wasn't even about trying to kill Negan.
No,
then.
something they didn't
But he was
do
trying to kill him.
at the end.
Okay.
We'll get to that too. Something they didn't do, questioning Negan, something they didn't do when they were provided safety. This doesn't just end with Negan, it ends by dismantling the entire system he built, otherwise someone else just steps up as Negan. That's why we're all Negan.
Gotcha.
Somebody put, I felt that's why he took the Polaroid as well. So when he goes to the outpost, he can see, he can show be like, see, look at home. This is what it's like there. Show him the picture and show Negan cowering under that thing.
Yeah, there's no proof in that Polaroid that was Negan hiding behind there.
You see Lucille and the leather jacket. I mean, fine. Maybe they'd be like, it's Photoshop, but it's, but it's a Polaroid.
That's a thing that still happens in this universe.
Exactly.
He's the one guy who finds electricity. He's like, yeah, I'm going to use it to Photoshop these pictures I took on my iPhone. Okay?
So basically, he can show the people this is the Savior's home and its present condition, and this is the psychological aspect. Thin the numbers, weaken the herd, and then move Negan toward a broken shell of what he once was without his people.
And then Rick beats him to death with Lucille.
Right. And some of the next two comments are great. The Polaroid was to show Negan cowering. Yep, all part of Rick and Negan's dick measuring contest. So, I think that's why...
George Carlin said it best. All war is a dick-waving contest. All the guns, bullets, knives are all shaped like dicks.
Yeah. We get more prism light through a stained glass thingy hanging, and more flashes to old Rick. Terrible flat top haircut. Fuck off with that.
It's an ode to Abe.
Why?
Because Abe was the fucking dude, man. That's why.
But why?
Why? Because Abe was the dude.
Why didn't Michonne go, fuck no, Rick?
Because she's bald now.
No, she still has dreads. Damn it.
They
didn't look any different. I mean, maybe a couple years old. Maybe a couple years older.
He just does. Why such? If it's only a couple years, right? Because it wasn't like I was expecting to see teenage. Judith,
right, and like 30-year-old Carl or something.
You didn't see Carl.
They showed the back of him as he walked past because they were teasing there how much time had passed still.
Right.
Michonne doesn't
not
age.
That much
fine. Fine. I can deal with that. She doesn't age. I have a friend that just doesn't change the way she looks. Just looked exactly the same, and I've known her for 15 years. So some people just don't age. I get it. But yeah, they say they're playing hooky. Then we go back to Negan, and he doesn't want to fight over how big their dicks are, blah, blah, blah. Rick starts naming the people on the balcony.
But then has to throw in the dig is mine's bigger.
Yeah.
We both know it.
Right. So that's interesting. Did he say that because what it made me think of was the line he said to him. I just slid my dick down your throat and you thanked me for it.
Right.
So it's almost like he's implying to everybody that Rick has seen his dick.
Right.
And that he's seen Rick's dick. Why does that need to be, I don't know, weird. But he says, I'd be fine with it if it wasn't.
Right.
Okay.
That was a weird little...
Right, it was really homoerotic.
Right.
He was really into it. He's not going to let his people die over this, and then Rick starts naming the people on the balcony. They all have a chance to survive here if they surrender. So yeah, he's giving them an option similar to what Negan did.
Yeah.
With the you guys surrender now and blah, blah, blah. But Negan asks, what about him? And he's like, you know what's going to happen. And he's like, no, I know what's going to happen. You don't. And then they bring out Gregory, who that falls flat on his face.
Right. Well, when I saw him peek around the corner,
right.
I was like, oh, this is going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, his whole crew is on the other side of that fence.
Right. And they don't respect him because he's a bitch. Morgan watches as some cars blow up as planned.
Right. This is all part of their plan.
It's
going to go wrong.
It has to. It's been going so smoothly at the moment.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, it keeps going this smoothly.
Rick tells the lieutenants to decide now, and he's like, you're going to make me count, huh? Okay. It's 10, 9, 8, 7, and then he just starts dumping.
Yeah.
Did you see the smug look on Negan's face as he was counting? He's like, yeah, okay. And then he gets to 7, and then just starts dumping, and then
then everybody's running, right.
Are automatic weapons less accurate?
Sure.
Okay. Because for fuck's sake, dude, nobody can hit anybody. It seems a bit ridiculous that they're standing there.
I haven't talked to a lot of people who have shot a lot of people. Okay. Or
I hope not.
Shot a lot of guns myself.
Okay.
So I can't claim to be an expert, but I have shot a couple of guns.
Okay.
And when you do that, yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to put it right back on the same exact spot.
Oh, right, and then it's going
so if that's one pistol, then yeah, if you're bullets are fucking going everywhere, man.
Okay, fair enough.
There's no having any kind of, and these people have had what little to no training. Let's be honest.
Right.
Like none of these people have had any military training.
Mm-hmm. So they basically all just they end up leading the herd there. They all bail, but Gabriel is about
after a blatant waste of ammo. I get the whole breaking the windows.
That was all it was. It was a show. It was a sign that your society is crumbling.
Right.
And
but he's like, now you have like that many less bullets.
Right.
And I have a dude who knows how to make bullets.
But they're potentially stuck in the trailer that they got stuck in at the end. And where do they go from there?
Well,
unless they have an underground
I'm thinking before that went down. But that was kind of how Gabriel and what a fucking
Why would you get out for Gregory?
Because he's Gabriel.
Yes, because he's the priest or whatever.
Because he's the Gabriel, and he's
because he's the Gabriel.
The Gabriel.
I like that.
The Gabriel.
Because he's the Gabriel.
The Gabriel got out for the Gregory.
So they blow up the RV here. Like you said, it's iconic if that is the...
If it is Dale's RV.
If that's Dale's RV, that's fucking awesome.
I thought they lost Dale's RV way back.
It's very possible. So Negan seems to be reeling, and Rick is trying to kill him. And Gabriel reminds him that it's not about you, Rick.
Right.
Good fucking point. You know, like, you're wasting time here. We're supposed to be gone already. This is the plan, and you're trying to kill this guy because you got a boner for him.
Right.
Dick contest
God,
and all.
what, you're the,
So Rick snaps a Polaroid of the
it's
action.
going to end with like a sword fight between Negan
where their
and Rick,
their swords handles are attached at their pants.
No, they're actually just pissing on the ground, waving their fucking piss.
Oh, you meant like
an
crossing...
actual pissing contest.
Gotcha.
That's how it's going to end. That's how the season ends. I'm calling it right here. You heard it. This is how to watch TV. This is Walking Dead end of season ends with Rick and Negan pissing on the ground. So
Gregory gets in the car and leaves Gabriel. Dumbass. He deserves to die at this point, Gabriel.
Oh, don't say that. I like Gabriel.
Carl leaves a sorry note for the guy who Rick scared off with it, along with
He's
the
not
two
going
cans
to
of
die.
food. I know. It's not going to, but he deserved it at that moment. It was like, okay, you're in the middle of a horde, you idiot, and you got out.
For
Tell him
Gregory.
to get in the car.
For the dude who just tried to play you.
That's simple.
Look at that.
Way easier. Just a
Why
little.
did you get back out? Right.
Bring it on. Let's get in the car. Maybe lean over and pop the door open for him. Maybe. Otherwise, just make sure it's unlocked. Not a big deal. Rick and Daryl are waiting for Gabriel still, and then they eventually move on. You know, they realize he's not coming back.
So they just chalk it up?
I don't know. They're just like, at the moment, we have to carry on with the plan.
Okay.
The herd is inside Negan's compound. Gabriel barely makes it inside and gets the, I hope you got your shit in pants on comment. I mean, I get that that's his bombastic nature, but it just...
Bombastic is a good word.
You're shitting pants on because you're going to be shitting yourself soon because you're about to shit your pants.
Well, but like he's saying this to the guy that's holding the automatic weapon.
And the door to all the walkers coming in. Gabriel could sacrifice himself right then and open the door.
Yeah.
And let them all come in.
Right.
Then what, Negan? You're fucked.
Right. How many can you beat to death with a baseball bat before you get eaten?
Yeah.
Might get 5 or 6, maybe.
I mean, Gabriel could just dump on everybody in there.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, he has, I hope you got your shit in pants. You're carrying a baseball bat, dude. You have like, I hope you got your fucking shit in pants on, buddy, because I'm going to blow your fucking brains out.
Can I predict a scene for coming up? It's going to be like when Anakin's deflecting stuff that people are shooting at him with the lightsaber. All the bullets are going to be coming at Negan, and he's just going to catch them all with his baseball bat.
Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, okay, that's what's going to happen.
So we go back to Rick.
Because Negan is a secret ninja.
Right.
Negan ninja.
Jedi.
Hashtag Negan ninja.
Yeah. He knows the Force.
Stop talking to me.
Old Rick isn't that much older. Judith speaks, but not that well. I mean, she's just a kid.
She's like 8.
Yeah, she's like Sawyer's age. People are having a festival outside. She's talking about a big owl. She said something about a festival and a big owl. He's like, how big can an owl be? Fine, let's go look.
Somebody's having a festival? That's cool.
Yeah. But again, assuming it's real.
Is it the Festival of the Dead?
Dia de los Muertos? That feels like that's every day.
Right. But that farmhouse was like directly, like it was like built in the middle of Alexandria, which was kind of a cool idea.
But
like
it looked like it was built by them. The way the bricks were put together and everything.
Built by who?
Them. It didn't look like it was one that was already there. They all had siding.
No, for sure. That's what I meant. Like, no, I think that's the house that they live in. Like when you see that, they don't see that when they walk out. They see like
they're walking out across, and you see that house across the street from them.
But I'm saying now. Like, if you see that scene now, that house isn't there. Like, they built that farmhouse.
Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying there.
For whatever reason, whatever purpose that serves, they built that there.
So what do you think about the hazy look? Dream sequence? Fantasy?
The way they're making it seem, like, because they keep cutting back to him, like, breathing hard with the red eyes, like, and he's like...
Like everything got taken away from him.
This is what I want to get to. Like, this is what I imagine it being. Like, I don't know, man.
Do you which scenario is more likely? The one where everything's happy and he's old graybeard, or the one where he's crying on a porch somewhere with the prism constantly going over his eyes?
They don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Which one do you think's more likely? I think that him crying on a porch is more likely than happily ever after.
Because he's lost somebody? Yeah? I mean, dude, like, seriously, somebody else is going to die before this war is over.
Oh, yeah. They can't. There's when what's-his-name said, we won't lose a single one of ours in the preview. Yeah, fucking right.
Dude, like, come
that
on,
means people are dying.
Are you Babe Ruth? Don't call your shot, man.
So I want to know why Rick is crying. You know, obviously. If anybody has any guesses as to why Rick is
I think it all
crying.
goes back to what we said at the beginning. Like, let's watch this puzzle be put together.
And that was one of those things that I went on the subreddit for Walking Dead, and one of the things people said is, I could tell you, but it would spoil from comics.
Well, no shit then.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that's
we don't wanna know
another
that.
storyline that could potentially be told where it's going. I don't want to know.
I
mean,
don't
I
wanna
do,
know either.
but I don't.
I want to know.
It's like when people.
I want to know, but I want it delivered via the show.
I
don't
it's
want
like
it
when
delivered
people would
via...
ask Damon Lindelof, "Where's this story going?" And he'd be like, "Do you really want to know?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, no, never mind. Actually, no, I don't.
No, I don't want to know.
I
Right.
don't. I'm enjoying this too much." Back to the motivational speech. He goes, "If we start tomorrow, right now, what? If we start tomorrow, right now?" That doesn't make sense. I thought for a minute it was like, oh, tomorrow's their code word for right now. That's why they sent the thing to Dwight at the beginning with the arrow that said tomorrow, but it really meant right now. But it says tomorrow just in case he gets caught. No, a day passed. It's so dumb. I don't understand. What the fuck does if we start tomorrow right now mean? Legitimately no idea. No matter what comes next, we've won. We've already won. So
We've already won.
right. It was a very Braveheart speech.
But then you lost by getting that haircut.
Yeah, nobody wins with that mullet. It was pretty bad. I mean, it was almost a Eugene.
Was it a
thing.
mullet? Did he have
It
the
was-
long in the
it was-
back?
it wasn't
party?
like
It was party in the
long,
back?
but it was not.
But it was
flat
half
top.
because it was half party in the back.
Yeah,
And the long beard? What the fuck, Rick?
it was a festival in the back.
Who's the festival?
Do you think Rick could be corrupted somehow going forward? Do you think when
Like turn
if,
into Negan?
right?
Could you see him torturing somebody to get him to do what he wants? Yes.
I think they're already showing us what could potentially be the next Negan versus Rick conflict. Rick versus Carl. Look at the way Carl handled that situation with that guy at the gas station.
Oh,
versus
yeah,
how
that's
Rick
a big
did.
hint there for sure. Yeah, right. And Rick being all like, I just shot over his head. Like, take it easy. Like,
Yeah.
So, like, as to insinuate Carl's been giving him shit about just blatantly murdering people whenever he comes across them.
Right.
So, yeah, you can't be that. There you go. Okay. So then Rick becomes the new Negan, huh?
It's a possibility. Is all I'm throwing out there. It's possible it could happen.
And just,
I don't want it
just
to be,
flips
but
it to switch in his head to be like,
how much
it
more fun
has to
could that
this
be
way.
if there were 4 seasons of Rick being the bad guy? You know, and eventually he comes back around. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there because I don't see an end. I just said 4 seasons because I don't see an end. I don't see it, man. I don't see what this show's not going
If
to
we're
end with.
talking about this 4 seasons from now, I will genuinely be surprised. You'll have to bring up this tape
Okay.
and tell me to be surprised, because I will be surprised
Okay.
if the show is still on in 4 seasons.
Oh, you don't think it's going to be on in 4 years?
Man.
Are you saying that because you don't want to commit to podcasting for 4 more years?
Not that the material isn't there.
Right.
But I'm talking Hollywood wise, man. Like, not everybody's going to give the hometown discount per se.
No, but they could turn the cast over. They've introduced a shitload of people, man. Tell me right now, don't you feel like
Yes,
Michonne don't you think Michonne is like a crucial cast member? Doesn't it feel like it anyway, whether she is or isn't? She feels like an original. She's not.
No.
So like they've done that well.
Right.
Aaron, the gay guy,
yeah.
I think
He he hasn't has a single line in this season.
Really?
I feel like he didn't say a word in this episode, not one.
I feel like he's part of the cast now. Like whereas at the
I felt
beginning,
like your boy was part of the cast last season.
who? My boy?
I say that your brother-in-law's buddy from
Ethan Embry.
Ethan Embry, like,
Yeah.
and then Rick stabbed him in the neck because he was screaming because he got his face bit off.
Yep.
That didn't last very long.
No, it didn't. There's going to be that kind of people that they interject too, but I don't know, man. I'm enjoying it still. I'm trying to get into Fear the Walking Dead. I'm almost at the end of season 2. I've heard season 3 is batshit crazy. It's available for free on the app if you have AMC.
Don't they? It's not on Netflix. No.
Not not after season 2. Maybe the first 2 are. I don't know. I haven't checked. But yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I'm enjoying the world of The Walking Dead. I realize it's different. I would love for them to be building towards the cure. I would love for this show to be the show that, in the end, the last 2 seasons or so are building towards humanity wiping out the walkers. But I don't think this is that show.
No.
I don't think we're ever going to get
No, but I think we
closure in that
discussed
regard.
on the last
the recap
introductory
thing?
podcast that it's got to end. Like, there's no way that there's enough people to keep turning over zombies. Like, the zombies have to fade away eventually. But then does the disease go away to where people die and come back? When does that end? That's the cure you're looking for.
Correct. That would be the cure. Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to go and like sprinkle some pixie dust and all the walkers turn back into people.
Turn back into and they're like, where's my arm? Oh my God, I'm in pain.
Yeah, they're like, why am I doing this? Why am I covered in blood? Did you notice the walker with his pants sagging? That was kind of funny.
He had like the Dickies on, like the hoodie. He almost had like a bandana hanging out of his back pocket.
Yep, good stuff. No. So yeah, we'll be back next week. Make sure to send to
he's going to berate you again.
To Katrina McAllis. I genuinely appreciate the comment. I'm not trying to say rules. I'm just telling you what I just wanted to be clear about what we're trying to do here. I appreciate anybody's feedback. If you have any feedback, please feel free to chime in. I won't berate you, I promise.
I'm berating you. I'm berating you with Lucille.
TWD.
Next week.
TWD with Joel and Jeremy at gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at Comeuppance. He's not on any social medias. It's funny. Colleen asked me, she goes, what's Jeremy's name? You haven't told me his name. I'd like to tag him in the post. I'm like, well, his social media presence is solely my doing, but that's fine because I'm doing it for the same reasons you're doing it, to let his people know, friends of his know that he did something. And they might check it out. That's the only reason I made you a Facebook page, is so that your friends would follow you, and then when I tag you, they see it.
I don't know how many friends I have on Facebook. You'd have to inform me.
None.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was negative. I would have negative people.
All these memories in my mind, my mind. I'm still a secret lemonade drinker.